We live in an age of new ideas, but we are starving for old truths. The modern world tells you that masculinity is a social construct, a costume you put on and take off. They are wrong. Masculinity isn't a fashion. It's an architecture of 4 pillars. We didn't invent these 4 aspects of masculinity. We just rediscover them. They are the structural pillars of the male self, buried under the rubble of a distracted century. To find them, we have to look back at the blueprint that hasn't changed while the rest of the world has. Our journey begins in the Mediterranean sunlight. The ancient Greeks didn't see man as a blank slate, but as a vessel for the cardinal virtues. They understood that a man without an internal structure was a danger to himself and his city. They knew a man needed a king's justice, a sage's wisdom or prudence, a lover's moderation or temperance to rule his own desires. But justice is a hollow word without the power to enforce it. That is why they demanded a warrior's courage or fortitude. This wasn't just about the spear, it was about the thumos, the spirited fire in the chest that allows a man to stand for what he believes in when the world demands he kneel. In the Middle Ages, the complete man was forged through a rigorous discipline known as the liberal arts. This was the era of the chivalric code, where the rough edges of the fighter were polished by the intellect of the scholar. Here we see the wizard's or the magician's ascent. Through the quadrivium, the medieval man sought a connection to the cosmos. By studying arithmetic, geometry, and astronomy, he learned the hidden laws of reality. But this intellectual power was balanced by the lover's connection to poetry and music. A man who could calculate the stars but could not feel the weight of a song was considered half dead. The medieval ideal was a man who was as comfortable in the library as he was on the battlefield. By the 20th century, we stopped looking at the stars and started looking inward. Carl Jung identified these not as mere historical roles, but as archetypes, universal patterns hardwired into the male psyche across every culture in history. Jung realized that whether you were a Norse chieftain or a Mayan priest, these 4 energies were already there. Later, Moore and Gillette refined these specifically for the modern man, recognizing that when these energies are repressed, they turn into shadows. The king becomes a tyrant, the warrior becomes a bully. They named them king, warrior, magician, and lover not to be poetic, but to give a name to the ancient forces that still drive your heart today. We use wizard rather than magician to emphasize scholarly pursuit in hidden knowledge over supernatural power. The label, however, is simply an illustration to help understand the underlying aspect. The aspects act as a compass. When you feel lost, when you feel bitterness, or the drift of purposelessness, it is because one of these pillars has crumbled. The world will try to tell you that you are a consumer, a cog, or a mistake. The blueprint says otherwise. You are the heir to a lineage of justice, strength, wisdom, and passion. They are our inheritance. To master them is to stop reacting to the world and start ordering it. To master them is to become the man you were born to be. The sovereign, the divine man. We don't just react to the world, we lead within it. If this mission resonates with you, take up the compass. There's more work to be done.